I'd like to say the following, that we are told there are over 1 million recorded insect species. They are primary and secondary decomposers. They are superstars in the waste world. They are the foundation, as you very rightly said, Francis, for all territorial ecosystems in the air, in the water, in the ground beneath our feet. They pollinate, disperse seeds, they maintain soil structure, provide food, influence our agriculture, and control the population of other organisms. They are, in fact, a class act by themselves. We know of some of their economic benefits. For example, they produce honey, lacquer, silk, but they also have medicinal benefits. For example, the larvae of 2 flies, Lucilla and Phonia, are vital for healing bone wounds. No medicine can do this. They clear away the dead tissue and prevent bacterial infection. In agriculture, Stagomantis, a voracious insect, eats grasshoppers, preventing crop failure and cereal crop failure. And much agricultural farming could not take place without the active participation of these insects. Yet, these mute heroes are not always acknowledged by farmers and have been aggressively targeted with pesticides such as Roundup, which I will be talking about in a few minutes. We have been conditioned over centuries to fear insects like the plague flea, the malaria mosquito, but they are not always enemies, as I have demonstrated. They are critical to life processes, and they need to be brought to all our attentions. Why? The Natural History Museum and others have been conducting studies into insect decline between 2004 and 21, and the findings they've released in 2021 show that the declines have been 1/3 each year and 60% in the last 2 years. While this is not an apocalypse, as my science teacher used to always say to me, the qualities in the changes in quantity will soon become changes in quality. And I certainly have noticed a reduction in insect numbers. And a similar study was done in Denmark, and in Germany and Puerto Rico, they have actually witnessed insect collapse. In Puerto Rico by 98%, where it's led to the crop failure of cucumbers and tomatoes. And some of the items that are being blamed are, of course, agricultural pesticides, such as Roundup, which contains something called glyphosate, which is a known carcinogen and is widely used and has been indiscriminately used in the past. But also, as Aurora mentioned, air pollution, which is confusing insects because the smell of flowers are masked, they can't pollinate as a result. These are all known things now, and they're saying about 31% of those affected are affected by air pollution. So while Britain has this good regulatory framework for pesticide use, unfortunately, the industrial scale on which it was used was never properly looked at in the way, for example, in the whole pharmaceuticals industry, you have to monitor and report annually, but no similar system, unfortunately, exists for pesticides. And what has happened is that in 2013, the EU was bringing in laws to limit pesticide use, but unfortunately, the government of the day only partially ratified this, but now I think they're going to be looking at it more seriously. Now, looking at what we can do in Enfield, I invite you to look at the Council's own submission on the UK PAN website, and there you will see something interesting. Unfortunately, I can't show it to you. I sent it to you, Francis, but I couldn't get back to you. And it will show that the increased use of glyphosate in the borough in the last 4 years, where it has doubled, which is a bit worrying and needs looking at. So one of the things that we had done on the Greenbelt Forum is we had severely limited the use of these phosphates to hard to treat areas, and Roundup had been sort of brought out of the picture, but now a new subject, a new pesticide is being used. And unfortunately, the use of it has doubled. I don't know why, but the use of it has doubled. And I think one of the things we could do is push for a council motion, not only limiting the use of these, but actually bringing in a framework of maybe annual monitoring. We could also individually join the Natural History Museum's individual missions in relation to insects. So they're leading together with Bug Life on these actions. For example, they're promoting bug hotels, log areas where insects can live in a small part of your garden. And we do have one in Bowes, the ward I used to represent. So I'm sure there are quite a few schools that are probably doing them now, but these kind of individual actions can be very helpful. The citizen surveys, participating in those, on the number of butterflies you've seen in your garden, or this sort of thing, makes people more aware. But I think one of the things that I would hope we could all look at is there is a new natural history GCSE, and somehow getting that into our schools, because getting the next generation conscious of about insects, I think is very, very important. So these are some ideas anyway, and I thank you for your time.